Welcome to the Pool Party Gaming Podcast. I think we'll call this episode three, four. Count it however you'd like. This is going to be a good one. We have this evening a guest. We're going to talk a little bit about pool party and what to expect and what to look forward to in a little bit. But first, we have a very fun new sponsor. Most, all have heard about. We have the GM with us tonight. Our guest, Brent Kightlinger, the general manager of the famous Redbeards down on 6th Avenue. Welcome to the show, Brent.
Thank you. How are you all doing today?
Fantastic. How you doing today, Adam?
Great. Great to be here. I've been working with Brent a lot behind the scenes for about the past month, throwing this together. So can't wait to talk to him a little bit about that, as it's kind of just thrown on people brand new, and Brent was awesome to work with. So excited.
Glad to hear that.
Brent, tell us a little bit about, your path at Redbeards, like it was an interview. But how long have you been there? What's your experience been? What are you proud of?
I've been at Redbeard's since November of 2019. So I had a little bit of a pre-COVID experience and a little bit of a post-COVID experience. I started in industry down here in Pittsburgh in November of 2018. So I've been down here for 6 or 7 years. I'm from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania originally, just a small college town. Kind of always did the food industry, whether it was McDonald's. I was a bouncer for a little bit before I was a bartender. And then I hopped over to Lenny in management. So I started as the assistant general manager in November of 2018 and, worked through COVID for a while. We didn't have a general manager, open and close the store, I think 3 times made us do that, the government. I don't know. I don't remember that in that year. Um, and I think about a year after that, I was promoted to general manager. So I've been general manager for, let's see, 3 years now. In those 3 years, let's see, 2023, I had the highest grossing year ever in Redbeard's history between both locations. And then I beat that again in 2024. I'm hopefully on track to beat that again in 2025.
This
Well
guy,
done.
this guy sounds like a ultimate competitor. Clean match right here.
Absolutely.
And I just like you did McDonald's, you did Bouncer. One of my favorite books is The Fountainhead, where what's his name? Howard Rourke. He's an architect, but he starts in the mines. He does all the grunt work before he wants to join the ranks of manager.
Absolutely.
I was a bouncer myself as well. Did you ever get to throw a guy out?
Yeah, I've done that. I'm pretty experienced. I've actually all my teeth are fake. I've lost about 5 teeth doing it too.
Really, from bouncing, getting
But yeah, I mean,
punched?
we're in a small town. It's a little bit different than down here.
Yeah, and college town too. So you can get away with the scraps. They kind of
Yeah. Oh, I can handle myself. That's for sure. That is
nice.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I heard you lift weights, so I would want to get bounced by you. I'm actually not a force to be reckoned with physically, but on my first night bouncing in state college at Penn State, me and another guy got to hold a guy by the seat of his pants and by his shoulder and go
That.
1, 2, 3 out the back door. And I was like, this is the greatest job ever. I never had to fight someone else again. I have other inappropriate stories about working there, but so you're a man of the industry.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
the first thing I've been like dying to ask you this question because Redbeards is a great sports bar. I love watching games there, both Mount Washington and downtown. I lived in Mount Washington for 7 years, so I frequented that one more. But I've been to downtown a bunch too, and I've seen some good moments there. My question for you: what's the best Pittsburgh sports moment that you've experienced at Redbeards?
So, I mean, I can have a few on there, but we're talking Pittsburgh specifically. Unfortunately, I haven't been here in time for a Stanley Cup win. I don't think anyone, maybe someone alive has been, maybe Lenny has been alive for a championship win by the Pirates. Um, Penguins, I also haven't been here for that. Now, I'd say, Pittsburgh related would be the comeback of McCutcheon. And I just
Mm,
mean that because like that first standing ovation from like, just the fans coming in for that first game when he was playing again, when that first DL, I don't know, it was last year or whatever. It was just so many people that came from all over to see this guy play. So many people talking about all the things he's done for his community. And it had been years since he had been in the city playing for us. So, it was cool to see the popularity still there. And then you could hear the standing ovation for him coming from the stadium all the way across the river, and that was just awesome, very heartfelt for someone who absolutely does deserve it. And again, I wish I could have been here for a Stanley Cup win or all of that, but hopefully we'll have a few of those here in the future.
Well,
Absolutely. It's going to be a while.
it's funny. I was at that game, and that game was absolutely electric. We ended up winning. We had like 14 runs. The other team had like nine, or I don't know. It was a high scoring game, I remember. And it was like, okay, Pittsburgh could work in Pittsburgh. So,
Yes,
we just
there's
start
hope.
stacking now on top of the young guys. We could have some exciting times in the Pirates in the near future.
I agree. And we get a lot of the coaches too, with being around when we're open. And I'm a Cardinals fan, and so I get, my greatest thing is, I get all their managers. So Ollie Marmol, Stubby Clapp, all of them come in. And anytime I see Ollie, he tells me he never misses a chance to come to Redbeards. And, that's just cool to hear from one of your favorite managers. I don't know if he'll be a manager next season, but we'll see.
Say those names again. Those were great names.
Oliver Marmol, Stubby Clapp.
Yeah. Stubby Clap. That's
Yeah,
his
he's
name.
like 5'4", and he's really funny. He's a cool dude. One of the favorite things I remember him is him and the Mets. There was like a fight between the Mets, and he socked Pete Alonso. He's like this tiny dude. And that was fantastic. I found him in my kitchen one time after everything was closed. He was looking for the bathroom. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, he's like, I can't find the bathroom. I'm like, this is the kitchen. But,
Good thing he sounds like a nice guy though, because you wouldn't want to have to bounce Stubby
no,
Clap.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, you get all sorts of celebos down there. I saw Brett Kiesel was down there this past Sunday, wasn't he?
He was. He
What was
was.
he
That
doing?
that was a setup with Dubliner Irish whiskey. So I think he's kind of doing promotions with them. They had done a VIP experience giveaway. So someone had won the best VIP Steelers experience to watch with a Steeler for that Eagles game. They called me about a week out and said they need a spot and that Brett Kiesel was going to be their guy. So we kind of set that up for them. So he watched half of the game with them upstairs where we did a private event, had it all locked off, private bartenders, flair bartenders, catered food. And then he came down for an hour and kind of signed some things, took a picture with all of us, which is like an overall cool dude.
The I'm thinking, what's a flare bar? Oh, flare. They do the flips and all that
Yeah,
stuff
like
like
up
that.
and
Yeah, yeah,
stop
yeah, yeah.
and all
Nice,
that, do a
nice.
little show, put on a
Yes, I
performance.
thought that was like inside baseball for the bar industry, but it's not. What was I gonna ask? Can I ask you a quick question about bar etiquette? I was with a big group of friends, like six of them. It was actually at the pool party event at uh, uh Coaches this past Sunday for the Steeler game.
Right.
Getting the buckets. They had a bucket of Miller Lite Special. I've worked in the service industry. I've served, I tended bar, I bounced, but I never served or bussed at a place that served buckets. So here's a very specific question. I open my beer, it's bottles, so I have a cap. You have a bucket full of ice. If I throw that cap back into the bucket of ice and your server takes that, is that causing problems down the line?
No, not really.
You're going to
I
dump
mean,
that right into a sink and it's not going to go down the drain and mess with your disposal or anything like that?
no, 'cause if anyone's smart is going to have some sort of screen to stop straws and such like that. And like on a busy night, we're just refilling those buckets over and over. So unless someone dumps their beer into it, then we're not really dumping it fully out. There's going to be more ice going on top of that. You're
Nice.
not dumping from said ice, so it's just a cap.
And of
It's not.
course, the ice screen at the bottom
Yeah,
of the sink. Duh.
yeah, you
Okay.
absolutely
Well,
catch that. You're not
I
causing
wanted to
any
ask you that just as much
better
as
than being on the floor, in my opinion.
say that again.
Better than being on the floor.
Yes. Yes.
It's definitely
I wanted to know the answer to that question even more than the best Pittsburgh moment at Redbeards. How about like niche sports? I mean, do you have fun crowds for Olympics? Or one I'm curious about because I've been getting really excited about is volleyball. Adam, set the stage real quick. What's up with Pitt volleyball? I mean, I know they're doing well, but I can't speak intelligently enough.
Pitt volleyball, number one team in the nation, been the number one team for maybe the whole year, at least most of the year. Only one loss. They just made the Final Four. They had a home game at the Pete. It was rocking in the Elite Eight a couple days ago. So now they go to Louisville for the Final Four. Their opponent, Louisville. So
Mm.
Louisville basically gets a home game against Pitt. I think it's tomorrow, 6:30. Yeah, going to be a great watch. Brent, have you guys had any interest, any crowd down there for the volleyball?
Oh, absolutely. I think every day that they've played, someone's wanted it on, whether it ends up on sound over whatever the big game playing is. That I can't guarantee that, but it's certainly been on and been asked to be on as well. Um, Especially even on like I think this past Saturday they played and people wanted it in between some of the bigger college games. So it's definitely drawing attention. I've had some of the D1 teams come in. I remember D Colgate was in last season. So we get a lot of these teams. I think Point Park is like D2 or something as well. So you get some of those teams that they're coming in from out of town. I'd say kind of follows right in line with the who is that from Indiana Fever? Was that Caitlin Clark?
Caitlin
The
Clark.
Caitlin Clark effect, and like how much her playing and her style of play, and thing between her and Angel Reese, how much that added to people wanting to see WNBA. So when previously I'd never had people asking to change a TV off of a baseball game or a football game to watch WNBA play or women's college football basketball, now you're seeing that. So
Really?
I think that's a good thing, and it's definitely going to continue to keep happening. So you kind of have to keep that in mind of what other sports going on, what championships and who's playing.
What a great little data point for the industry because these ratings, I never trust them completely, right? The news channels ratings, they're just on at the airport. They have a deal with the airport. I'm not like impressed by that. A great little insight into what's really going on with the boots on the ground is if you're sitting at a bar and there's an NFL game on, what are people asking you to turn the channel to? And that it's
Right.
been WNBA recently and pit volleyball recently. That's awesome. I love to hear it. But
I agree.
I mean, and that's crazy to me because people they're asking. There's college football games going on, big ones. By the way, we're
Yeah.
recording December 18th. Tomorrow's the 19th. I just wanted to tell the listeners that's when Pitt's playing in the Final Four. But so this past weekend was, I guess, when Pitt volleyball was playing, there was huge college football games on.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
think
think
you already
Redbeards
did.
was packed for that, right? How's the college football scene at Redbeards?
I mean, it's great. Again, our demographic, you got to where we're located. We're downtown. We're in the middle of the culture district between two five-star hotels. We get a lot of tourists. Not that we don't get our regulars who are in here and live down here, but most likely, if you're between the ages of 18 and 30, you're probably not living downtown. If you are, you're probably have your set, you either watching your house on your nice TV, or, again, our demographic isn't that age because there isn't a lot of people that age here. Again, downtown's not the cheapest place to live. And most people are living in outer neighborhoods and have their corner bar they go to, coaches, like you said, other places like that. But we still do well. We do well with people that are in from out of town. We do well with, parents visiting kids, and, people coming in to watch other sporting events, whether it's the Penguins or the Steelers. If you're in here from especially Southern, Dallas was in town anytime and they're watching the SEC, like I know not to turn that off. It's like a religion. So that
Yeah.
Saturday before Sunday, just all day watching football, especially because we have all the networks. They can see everything for the most part.
But when I've gone to Redbeards downtown, it's because there's so many good restaurants surrounding you. So I would get a bite to eat
Right.
there, and I'm not going to sit around and drink, $27 martinis or $15 draft beers. I have my meal, and then me and the fellows will move to a place like Redbeards
Right.
specifically, and we'll kind of have a few and relax. And
Absolutely.
yeah, um, awesome. Thanks, Brent.
Yeah.
Uh, what I want to ask Adam a little bit about. I mean, you can both answer. I'll put this to the squad. What can people look forward to during the games? And why should people choose Redbeards on sixth to watch the games?
Absolutely. Well, one, I think we like to give everyone the same level of service, yeah, the same level of respect. You can feel like you're at home. I hear that from a lot of people. They come here and they feel like they're at home, whether they're in town from Germany or they're coming from another place in Pennsylvania or they're in from LA. They know the menu is going to be approachable. They know that, the beers that we have are going to be approachable. It won't be all IPAs. They understand kind of burgers and wings. And, if we go here, people are nice to us. We can get our game on the TV and we can relax and have an enjoyable time. The environment isn't, like you said, we're going to be paying, white tablecloths and $15 beers, but it's also not a dive bar environment where you have to be worried if, someone's going to rob you or something like that. It's a nice in the middle. You're downtown, you're getting your downtown aspect, getting the service of being downtown and what you're paying for, but also you can relax and enjoy yourself like you're at home on your couch. And I think that kind of ties into why I want to do the pool too, because it kind of helps build that community. We've always done sort of pools, whether I ran it through Yahoo or I did it through ESPN. It's just when you're doing a bunch of other things, it's hard to organize it, logo it, and do it in the way that you guys are able to put it together and the way the pool branding works. It's just very smooth. My mom was able to sign up. My dad, they're in their 60s. My boss, it's something that, I've seen elsewhere and for other styles of things, but never in this type of environment. So that's why I wanted to hop on and kind of help promote it. And so we can continue to keep doing it and get people engaged and kind of help me on that end.
Yep. And then from the why Redbeard. So I was down Redbeards. It was conference championship weekend. We had the SEC on TV, Texas, Georgia. That game ended up being a thriller, I remember. The place was electric. You got a turnover, you got a touchdown. There was a little explosion. You had people playing darts in the corner. Just a great time to kind of watch that game as a community, like Brent said. And yeah, it's great to partner with Redbeards here. Brent kind of bought the vision right away. Understood, we are going to create an awesome event for these playoffs. And it's a fantastic spot to be right now.
Yeah, competition is great for business too. I think I think if anyone sports bets, I think that's kind of why we do it, right? Whether it's a game that we don't want to watch or it's just something to make us more enticed to watch said game. When you have something on the line, kind of like the belts they have, bragging rights. As you guys said, Redbeards is an institution here. So to say that you won the Redbeards pool and the first ever one that we know is going to continue to keep going, it's kind of good bragging rights, and it's a good place to set yourself in the history of you know, sports and pool sports here.
Yeah,
Look at that. Look at
so
that belt.
we got it. We got the belt.
Look at the belt.
This
Beautiful.
these will be run down to Redbeards tomorrow. So
Look at
we
that.
got this is the Super Pick'em champion, the person with the most bracket points and Pick'em points here. We got a Pick'em competition. I don't know if you can read that it's very shiny here, but that's the Pick'em belt, little smaller belt, but still an achievement. And then the bracket's going to be a blast as well. So we
Size
got
doesn't
three
matter.
belts that are going to be living at Redbeards until the end of the national championship game.
These are nice belts for the people who listen into audio only. They're nice little quality belts, and I haven't seen them yet. There's the beautiful Redbeards logo, the bearded, he's a
Red
red
beard.
bearded fellow, right? Redbeard, I guess is his name.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're nice.
You can
Who
always
knows? Maybe
follow the Pool Party Gaming and also the Redbeards Instagram accounts too. They've been up there. So if you want to catch a peek at this belt, awesome custom made belt, you look at it right away and you know exactly what it is.
Absolutely.
and you could probably even get it engraved with your name on it once you win.
Oh,
And Brent might even throw one up there and your belt might sit there. He hasn't committed to that, to be clear, but it's just, I know if I won, I go, where would I put this in my house? No one's going to know I'm the best. Maybe Brent would put it up in his bar and it would say,
find a place
Sam,
up there.
the champion. um, Brent, you can't really, it's going to be tough for you to win the pool because I'm in it too. But what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on
So,
the what are your thoughts on the college football playoff? Who's your pick for champion?
I mean, it's interesting. I think I went, I don't know. I just kind of chose that day. I had to make a video to post, and I wasn't 100% paying attention to my picks, but I think I ended up with ASU as my pick. Super underdog. They lost me a big parlay the last game they played, so I hopefully maybe they'll win me this one. But yeah, we'll see. It's super interesting. 12 people, 12 teams. Um, you have a lot of good teams. We'll see. SMU, Penn State. I don't know if they'll be able to keep up with the level of other teams that are playing. It is certainly interesting. It's going to be a good playoff. I can't wait.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. Like you said, it brings business. I think you said that the competition brings
Oh, yeah,
business. I've never
absolutely.
watched college football seriously in my life. I went to Penn State. It's football religion, but every time there's a game, especially on a weekend, I'm like, I got to be with people because this is a blast. There's
Right.
vibes in the air, you know.
This is going to be the best college football playoff of all time. It's the NFL playoffs, just a little bit newer. These games are going to be great. Brent, I will say I'm not backing you away from the Arizona State pick by any means, but the bracket picks can be changed up until the first game kicks Friday at 8. So don't
Good.
take that any type of way. Just wanted to make sure you understood how it works. It's the pick 'em
Yeah.
picks that lock once you make them.
Yeah, I'm kind of a purist, so I feel like once I made my choice, I can't go back.
Hmm.
So I feel like if I go back, then I'm influenced by other things.
Absolutely. And that's important too because
Off that walkie-talkie, that was sounding like
oh yeah,
music.
no worries. I thought there was an emergency down at Redbeards. I thought you were about to go bounce someone. That would be
No, that's the restaurant
fantastic.
next door calling for something
That
important.
would be great radio. For liability, we'll cut the video, but if we could just hear bottles breaking and stuff, and then
Okay.
you come out missing a tooth, yeah.
Yeah, we
We
could
can
figure
make
it
that
out.
the intro, our intro music for the pod.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that would be a highlight. I mean, I
Stone Cold
especially
might Stone Cold might sue us, but that's all right.
yeah, it would be better with the audio only too. You just hear Brett breaking bottles over people. Then he turns his camera back on, and his six guys are in there. We go, Brent, how'd it go? He says, I took some, but I gave more. Um,
Just what's his face? Biz
all the,
Nasty.
yeah, Biz. Yeah, took some, gave more. This is my favorite four words in the English language for the past month. It's fantastic. Took some, gave more. Um, I told you I lived on Mount Washington for 7 years, so I was up at the Mount Washington location probably more often than downtown previously. That's going to change. That was a legendary spot up there too, an institution on Mount Washington. What led to the decision to kind of not renew the lease there?
Yeah. So my boss Lenny, this is all him. This is all in 2006. He had bought that location in the name of Redbeard's. I think that time it was like Redbeard's Mountain Resort and Yacht Club. Great name, by the way.
Really, it is, but
Yeah,
it was on the
Redbeard's
Mount.
Mountain Yacht Club. It was not a yacht club. Um, and that was off some the guy who owns the building. So the gentleman who owns the building, he was paying rent to whatever. They had an agreement over time. Lenny had done some renovations. Again, when he had signed the lease in 2006, his forethought was, he's in his late 40s at that time. He's probably going to retire by the time that 20-year lease is up, and he'll kind of readdress it when it gets to that point. And now, the past 5 years with COVID and everything, a lot of things have changed in our industry. A lot of, things I'm sure would be frustrating if I had been in this industry for 40 years and now have to reinvent everything I've learned how to do and tie that in with just kind of, the opportunity. Again, lease is up. We have this wonderful spot downtown. If you talk to other owners on Shiloh Street, they're going to tell you that business has been down, especially with the incline breaking as much as it does. We're
Yeah.
talking 20 to 30% of the business comes from that and tourists from that. And it's just a demographic change on the Mount. Like you said, when I first moved down here, I was on the Mount. When you first moved down here, you were on the Mount. Now we have less of the young people and single guys and girls going out. You have more families. And what isn't places that families want to go? You can only go to so many restaurants so many times, right? So, neighborhoods change, things change, and it's just kind of the natural evolution of Redbeards for the moment. I do think, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be reopening. The guy who is buying it back is going to be this guy who owns the building. So he'll be buying it without the name, and he'll be reopening it hopefully within the next month or so for the Shiloh community up there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Because
so
I
it'll be
love
reopened,
that.
just won't be Redbeards.
Yeah, yeah, and because I love the spot and I love that's a fast turnaround makes me happy too because I love that
Yeah,
little.
absolutely.
I don't know if I'd call it a cultural district, but it's a great little commercial district up on Mount
Yeah,
Washington. I
I
used to
agree.
walk the dog there and grab there's a flower shop up there. Me and the dog would walk up, hit Grandview, turn on Shiloh, maybe grab a coffee.
Yeah,
Probably
coffee's
not if
nice,
you've
ice
ever had.
cream.
But then there was the flower shop. They had cash and carry roses, so you get a red rose for $1. Bring that home to your significant other. It's like a fantastic start to the evening. For $1, you got your wife
Absolutely.
flowers, or flower at least. $2, you can get them flowers. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
it's. I just feel like the legacy of Redbeard is maybe even going to get stronger with one location, because people used to say Redbeards, and I go, oh, which one? And they get excited. I go, which one? You'd say Mount Wash. They're like, oh, I'm close to I thought you meant downtown. Can you come downtown? Nah, I'm going to go to Mount Wash. You go downtown. Now, when you see Redbeards, we know we're going down to the cultural district. So
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's big, shoot footsteps to fill, I guess. I mean, it is something that's been there for 30 longer than I've been alive. So it's hard to say that, we're going to fill those footsteps perfectly. I mean, things are going to be different. It's not the same environment. It's neighborhood bar up there. Everyone loves a neighborhood bar. It's more, it's different downtown, even though we are a neighborhood bar of the cultural district, we are downtown. So we kind of have to level up what we're doing for everybody in the service because my prices are a little bit different than the prices up in Washington. The food prices are the same, alcohol prices are different. Again, rent's different, neighborhoods are different. I have to match my competitors.
We're talking 30 cents and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we're not talking $1 billion. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. But I do have to compete with the people around me. But we will certainly be trying to do new things. I'm going to be, I'm adding to my management team down here, and the focus is fully on this Redbeards. We're going to try a lot more stuff that we haven't done in the past. I travel a lot. I go Miami, Vegas. I do different um, conventions and things to the restaurants. So there's a lot of things that can be brought to Pittsburgh as long as you have the right things, the right people to do them. And I'm happy to hopefully get those things started before the draft, kind of cement ourselves in there. And again, this is just the beginning, at least for me. Semi-retirement for Lenny. I know down the line, I hope that maybe I can make this my spot, and then hopefully there'll be more than one Redbeards again, possibly in different neighborhoods. But that's far
Mm,
down the line.
interesting. Yeah, bring one to Lebo. I'd love a Redbeards in Lebo. And because
South Hills would be a perfect location for us, or North Hills. But yeah, I mean, again, it's just everything's changing. People aren't working downtown, so you're not traveling as much to downtown to be down here. So like being where people are working, which is at their home and closer to that, is smarter these days.
yeah, yeah, but you have T access for if you're
Yeah,
so
we do. T
yeah,
access, Uber, walkable from, like you said, multiple T stations, bus stops, all of that. Parking
everywhere.
on both corners.
Everywhere. The whole downtown I consider to have T access, unless you're mega triple lazy.
Yeah,
If the
yeah.
city was smart, I think they would try to push towards Sixth Street being a pedestrian only zone. And I know that would really mess up some sort of driving. I know it's hard for Heinz Hulks. They have people getting dropped off and for the Renaissance, but other cities have pedestrian only places. And when Sixth Street is busy and it's booming and it's like post pirate game and people are walking across the street, it only makes sense that it should be an area much like Market Square should be pedestrian only, in my opinion. There should be no reason cars are driving through there. But
And we
things
can
that the
do it.
city talk about.
I would like to see a soft launch of it where there's specific times where it's pedestrian only, right? Because like you said, it doesn't maybe always need to be. This is a very controversial issue you've just brought up, by the way,
Yeah.
on the Pittsburgh
Oh, I
subreddit
know. I'm in
and
the
other
heart. I'm
ways.
in the heart of it.
Yeah, and
Um,
but like you said, there's times where it just only when it's as busy as it is and people are jaywalking, which I respect and appreciate a jaywalk, but let's just be
right.
practical here. When it's happening to the degree that it happens, it might as well be a pedestrian only zone.
Exactly.
You just
Becomes a
don't get the
danger.
signs that tell you you're about to be screwed and have someone cut in front of you and bang their knee off you, whatever.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yep. So just to put a bow on the whole Redbeards Mount Wash thing, Brent, maybe you can confirm this, but I have heard that the new ownership who's coming in, they're going to keep that Redbeard, the staff on. So you want to talk about legacy? Awesome on the new ownership to do that, but kind of speaks volume about, the type of people at Redbeards too. So really cool story there.
Yeah, we offered everyone a position, downtown if they wanted it. Some accepted, some didn't. Some of the bartenders I know, uh, Pat's been up there, or Denny's been up there for 25. He basically came to the building. He worked for the old owner now, so he's just going to stay there. It's been where he's been for 3 decades. He's not going to change. And it's definitely, hours are different. They're not open every day. For a while, they weren't open for lunch. I guess now they're every day, but I've been open 7 days, 11:30 a.m. till 2 a.m. seven every single day for about 2 years, and that brings a lot of more hours on and changes people's hours. And again, Pittsburgh's very neighborhood based. If you're already living in Mount Washington and you walk to work, to add coming to downtown and possibly being here till 2 or 3 in the morning, having to figure out your way back, that's just a Pittsburgh thing. It has nothing to do. They're very loyal people. That's why they're going to stick with the guy who's reopening up there because they know they're good and they know the location, they know the people that are going to be going there. And again, they're loyal. I'm sure if a lot of those things weren't in the way, if the T was open longer and if they had better transportation to work, whatever it was, they would have came down too. But it's easy, it makes sense. It's what's best for them, and that's what you have to do for yourself sometimes.
Damn straight. Well, look, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I've had fun.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'm getting even more excited about Redbeards downtown, more excited about the college football playoff and the pool party
Yeah.
games. Anything else you want to mention, Brent? Adam?
Yes. I just want everyone to keep in mind that within the next 12 months, we're going to have that draft down here. So 2026, we have the draft. We want to be
Oh,
the
yeah.
headquarters of everyone for that. So come stop for us. Like you said, we're a great place if you're going wherever downtown to either stop, have a drink, and get your Uber to head there, or to stop afterwards before you get to your car or last meeting spot. And we understand that, when you come downtown to have a steak, you're not coming to Redbeards, but we understand that it's community and we all need to work together to make sure that we promote an experience for downtown so more people come and travel here and bring conventions here and want to spend more money in our community. And then that way we can use it to help better our community with all the issues that we see, whether that be homelessness or drug use or whatever. We all gun violence. I'd like to say that, Corey O'Connor is winning. We're definitely backing him in this race for the mayoral candidate spot. We think that he's going to do well for the city and make some much needed changes in those environments. Because there's some issues down here and kind of touches on why people didn't want to come down from their location. It's downtown's difficult and it's hard to work down here. It's hard to get home from work if you work late, and we're a working class city. A lot of my people don't make $1 million. They make good money, but they don't make enough money that they can Uber to and from work every single day. And that's why a lot of places need to balance their hours off of when they can get people there. I have a lot of awesome employees, and that's why we're able to pull off 11:30 to 2 a.m. But and we're really happy about how the success we've had because of that. But we need more people to be doing that for the whole community to be able to thrive and succeed, especially as we're coming into events like the draft. And we hope that, people make that more aware to the city and make people more understanding that we need that. We need the nightlife. We need this transportation. And we need that help. Hopefully, maybe we can kind of push the city in a better direction, not see as much of the issues we've been seeing downtown.
Well said. You would have been a great guest on Pittsburgh Local News
I
Podcast. When you
appreciate
and
it,
Dad.
gentlemen.
Yep. And I'll just say I'm looking forward to heading down Redbeard's couple nights, watching the college football playoffs there. Great environment. We're going to do a watch party. Stay tuned. You'll be able to
Yeah,
check it out, see
absolutely.
the
We'll
place.
be having that, whether it's for the playoffs, like we said, or we set up that watch party for one of our future pools because it's going to continue going on. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows that I'm probably going to beat Lenny in both, overall as well as probably my pick 'em.
You know what? We're going to keep a close eye on that race. We promise you there. Shots
I'm gonna
fired.
get,
Lenny's
I'm
not
gonna
even
get,
here to defend himself.
I gotta
Did
get the
you
other Lenny.
did
Oh, I
did
meant you, Lenny from
yeah, yeah,
Bridgeville.
yeah.
Oh,
Lenny from Bridgeville. Yeah, I was
We're
wondering. I
gonna
figured you
change
meant
Lenny
me.
from Redbeard's name to Lenny from Redbeard, so we know the
Yeah.
difference between the two.
Yeah, well, I got bad news for you, Brent, and worse news for Lenny Samples because I'm bringing home that belt. And when I do, Brent, promise me this. If you don't have to say you'll hang anyone's belt. If I win the college football playoff and get it engraved with my name, you'll hang it up in Redbeards for at least a
I
month.
will, I will absolutely hang it up. I already know where I'll put it.
All
I
right.
had a DJ like in the back where I hung, like as soon as you walk in above my drink rail, and I'll put it right there.
All right.
So
And if you win, I'll hang it up in my background for the show for at least a month, maybe forever.
deal,
All right.
deal.
and man,
Nice chat with you,
Seriously,
Brent.
I'm just gonna say
guys.
it's gonna hard to get this belt off this shoulder. Good luck out there.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a wonderful night. Merry Christmas if I don't talk to you guys again.
We'll
Merry
chat, Brent.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It was
Happy
great hanging
holidays,
out.
everybody. Thanks for
Well,
listening to the Pool Party Gaming Podcast. Never forget, this website is sleek, it's clean, it's fun. Most importantly, it's free to play and free to win. Good night.
Good night.